We started picking up guitars and just start with rock and roll. But what happens with the journey when you keep playing music, you tend to put your flavors or place where you come from. So I'm from Kashmir, and I back at home they listen to a lot of folk music. So the idea was to fuse that folk music with rock and roll and create a sound like that.
Jaipur Bytes, ladies and gentlemen. This is where we try and see if we can peek behind the creative curtain and see how that mind that creates art works. And today, this bit of Jaipur Bytes has been a personal journey for me because when you're a fan, you have questions, and then the objective interviewer can come later. But let me just tell you that I am just such a rabid fan of your music. So first of all, thank you very much for giving us hope in rock and roll, which people keep telling us is dying. But Parvaaz, ladies and gentlemen, is here. Khalid and Bharat representing the band, which is a little larger. So in case you haven't heard So Eja, or if you haven't tasted the sound of Kun, you might want to begin with, and then move on from there, because there's always Spotify that will tell you, do you want to listen to? What we want to listen first from both of you guys is that the creative process. It's been a bit of a roller coaster journey for Parvaaz in the past few years. What is the Parvaaz sound right now?
We started picking up guitars and just start with rock and roll. But what happens with the journey when you keep playing music, you tend to put your flavors or place where you come from. So I'm from Kashmir, and I back at home they listen to a lot of folk music. So the idea was to fuse that folk music with rock and roll and create a sound like that.
Excellent. Bharat, we are told that music has no GPS. So how's your journey been with Parvaaz?
For me, it has been like very smooth, because it felt like these guys were very welcoming, first of all,
right?
And it was very easy for me to like slip into how they have been used to like creating music, which is just getting into a jam room and just really like jamming and seeing what comes out of it. And like from the beginning, from our first conversation itself, it felt like, okay, I think this is going to be like very nice. Right after the first jam itself, at least I felt, okay, there is something here. And I'm hoping they also felt that.
We felt the same.
It was quite nice to see Khalid gently smiling at you while you were saying that you were being welcomed, which I would assume is a welcoming smile. But personnel changes for bands are usually tricky times, because you start a band with a certain vision, and then there's someone else who has to buy quite literally into that vision, because it has to be heart and not just mind. So the COVID time, of course, has also not been very kind to certain kinds of music. For example, rock has always, in a sense, been a community kind of music where you go out and there's people who sing with you, and then you get that vibe, and then you feed off that energy. So in that sense, did COVID change the way Parvaaz approached its music?
I don't think so. It has changed. It has changed since as a musician, you evolve. Like, you want to experiment a lot with your instruments and the other genres of music. So that has been there. But like COVID, I feel like after COVID, there are so many music festivals that are happening in India. I think you have a lot of international bands, acts coming every year, right? So I think after COVID, it has boosted. What also has happened is a lot of singer-songwriters have come up because they had time. So they made their home studios and came out. And what I don't see is a lot of bands not coming out of this country.
Yes.
But I feel that's everywhere around now, the scene.
It's that's exactly what I was going to ask you. That the one thing that COVID changed, in a sense, was the fact that music was both being made and consumed within the confines of the home mostly,
right.
Which is why the whole introspective singer-songwriter, single person, which also then when COVID went away, gave smaller spaces the idea that you could actually have just one person with a guitar singing, which was not very pleasant for the bands who had more than 4 members, which is what Parvaaz usually does. What, according to you, is the reality and the future of the concert scene, of the going out and big stage scene in India as well as across the world, the way you see it as a band?
Okay, so right now, in the last 1 year at least, we have seen like numerous like international concerts, right? And one of the things that I can like immediately talk about is like the ticket prices have like, just shot up. And like that, right? Just this month, like we have so many huge events, and like we are hoping like this will open up the market also for us, and like we'll also like hopefully like get to go outside, just like how the other artists are coming to India, and like I think like I'm hoping that the market opens, and like we like Indian artists also like get to go outside and stuff.
The cultural exchange should happen. Like when you see international acts coming here to India and playing their music and showcasing their music, and it's always been like if there is rock music, that it has to be for a white person.
There's also a question that I want to ask you. As a band that makes its own music, what's also selling in a large sense is nostalgia. There's Linkin Park that's coming in. There's the Scorpions who are coming in. There's Shillong that's hosting, the likes of Dream Theater. Not to say these are not relevant bands, but these are bands that start in the 60s and the 70s. Newer bands are relatively unknown in that sense. So is there, you think, a little bit of a hesitancy in approaching new music and being comfortable with the music that you've already heard, because it's much easier to sing along and scream along?
I think some festivals do have, young bands coming up who are new, but it all depends on the tickets, right? Who sells more tickets? They'll call that band, right?
Yeah.
And
So what happens when you get approached, or do you approach? What's your approach towards a festival? Would you approach a festival saying that we are good enough for your playlist, or would you wait for them to approach you? How does that happen?
I think so far our manager has done an excellent job. We always been getting calls for us, to play in such kind of festivals, whatever we play.
And of course, also the fact that words are now, sharp, sometimes weaponized as well. You have always been very upfront with the kind of songs that you write. You've always not sugar-coated what you wanted to say, neither with the sound nor with the meaning. In the situation that the world is in right now, and with the assault of information that we have 24/7 on the internet, is there a little bit of second guessing? Are you thinking twice about what you're writing because there might be backlash, or there might be unpleasantness, for lack of a better word? Is there a change in songwriting?
No, there hasn't been a change in songwriting. As I said earlier, even songwriting gets evolved, even your writing gets evolved, and we may have less views because you don't sing about certain things. That's fine with us.
I like the subtlety of certain things.
Yeah, I mean, our writing and our songs is all about like what experience we have had. If you hear our new album, which is called Nagul Nagulistan, and it's all about like the turmoil the entire world we are living in.
Absolutely.
And nobody gives a shit about it.
It's true. It's true. I was talking to Thermal and a Quarter, which happens to be, again, one of my all-time favorite bands. They told me that they'd written a whole album, which was very happy, which was very artsy. And then they scrapped everything because they said it just didn't sit well with them to write an artsy, happy album in a world where there's already 2 wars. So they actually went back to the studio and wrote a very angry album.
Yeah.
Would Parvaaz do that? Would you write something and then...
I personally feel I need to be happy first to write sad music. So, yeah.
You explain. That's a one...
I mean, like, that's how it has been. I need to be, like, happy myself. Whatever comes is very melancholic music. I'm personally attracted. We all are attracted to that kind of music. And that kind of music stays with us.
Yeah.
And, I mean...
There's also the fact that, there's a lot of Kashmiri in your music, which sounds beautiful. For example, my favorite song is Zindano. There's a lot of Urdu as well in this. The meaning became so much tastier when I actually went back and did a little Google, genuflected at the altar of Google and said, "Please tell me," and it told me the words that it meant. Do you think that listeners are willing to make that effort to understand the music anymore? What is your view of listenership when you started versus how it is now?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, for us is it's like we will make or write music which we like first,
Sure.
and then give it out. That's why our albums also, like, giving out an album takes time, like sometimes 4 or 5 years also.
Sure.
So that's how it's been, like sugarcoating everything and giving it just out for views and all. I don't think so.
No, we are not that people. Like, we want to make sure like we are authentic to ourselves, and like this is what we believe in. Like the music has to please us.
Sure.
First, right?
I'm understanding that you will, of course, be an intrinsic part of the way the music is made. But how is the songwriting done? Because I'm assuming, are you familiar with Kashmiri or?
No, like only he speaks the languages that
the band
That's the thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I'm assuming that you will need to be explained what is being said in the songs.
Absolutely. Every single time.
So, which might take a couple of times as well, I'm assuming, because there's always layers. Kashmiri is such a beautifully evolved language that there's always layer upon layers, like poetry, is it not? And that's why it sounds so good even if you don't understand it. But Khalid, well, within the band itself, how important is it to understand the words as they mean rather than as they feel?
I think for more, I feel it's the feel of the word, and definitely it has to make sense first. So basically, whenever we make songs, it's the music that comes first, and then the lyrics, and then whatever you're feeling that point in time, or whatever topic you pick up and you want to write, or whatever message you want to give, that is how it happens.
Right. There's also the fact that there is the artistic pursuit, and then there's internet bills and and electricity that
Everything.
those amps take. So that balance between the head and the heart. Is it a good time to be a professional career musician?
I mean, if you're ready to do rock and roll music and independent music, you better be ready that you're gonna be poor for the rest of your life.
Bharat, poor for the rest of your life?
Pretty much. No musician is like super rich.
Right.
Yeah. Nope. It's just not the case here.
But
It's the happiness that it gives. It gives you satisfaction at the end of the day.
expectation management, do you think a youngster who's seen the results, the problem, this is personal opinion, of course, but the problem with the internet today is that you're just seeing the resultant success and not the 99 times that someone failed for the 100th time to go viral. Do you think people are taking the process of making music, because it can be heartbreaking, it can be blood, sweat and tears quite literally. Do you think the process of music is being taken lightly, which is why there's probably not enough music that people are remembering after a year or two coming out?
Yeah, because I feel most of the time now you see like reels, like if you're not able to impress someone in a matter of 30 seconds, then if enough people are not making reels on your music, then okay, it's not doing good, right? What about times when there used to be like 10-minute songs, 15-minute songs, right? Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, song has to evolve, it has to shape up on its own. And for us, like when we sometimes, instead of an idea, when maybe I have an idea, I get it to the jam room, then we put, develop that song in the room. That's the fun part of it.
Yeah.
You hear it, you record it, and then you see what better you can do.
Sure.
But nowadays, like if you see the attention span has gone so less of people. If you're not able to impress the audiences, especially on internet, for 30 seconds, and then okay.
Do you think there's also listener fatigue that's coming in, considering, everything is just 30 seconds and everything is...
Yeah, probably, because personally, one of my favorite things about like music is like let's say in a 10-minute song, you have to go through the first 7 minutes to get to your favorite part. And without that part will not have that same effect. So even if you just make a reel out of it, it might sound great, but that feeling of like listening to an entire album, coming to track number 5, and that track number 5 make you feel like a certain way after listening to the first. So now that is like 100% changed.
Do you think the age of the concept album is well and truly over?
Hope not. Really hope not.
That came from the heart. So we'll let it be. Let's not get the mind involved.
I mean, nowadays people are also not making albums. They are just writing singles. Yes, it's
The creative process is very difficult. I mean, people fail to realize exactly how debilitating it can be for you, how demanding it can be. Are there times when you think that, okay, let's just do this as a hobby and not as a career?
Every day.
What are you saying?
But it's fine. Like you wake up with that thought and then it's fine in a couple of hours.
But pushing against that wall, is it rewarding enough still?
Thankfully, yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Yes.
Yes. Like, see, that's what like he said. Like, it's sometimes like we all wake up and we think like, aaj nahi ho payega. But but like it's just like there are days like
I mean,
this,
you
of
go to
course.
jam room sometime,
Yeah.
you have played that song 100, 200 times. Someday you're really bad. You think that, oh, I suck. This is really bad. I should quit. And then next day you go and you play the same. It's a different thing.
That's true, actually. That time when you start to think, oh, I'm so bad. Between that and that power chord that hits like a ton of bricks, and you're like, yeah, that's
I think that thing I personally feel should be you should be humble too.
explain.
I mean, you should be humble. Like, you should realize that, okay, you're just another musician in this world making music. There are hundreds of other people who want to do music in their lives but not able to do it.
Sure.
So,
There's also that
lucky enough.
there's also that double-edged sword of context. I've seen that a lot of people who are listening right now are what George Michael named his album so beautifully with, which is listening without prejudice. They don't have a Pink Floyd playing in their heads already. They don't have a Metallica doing the power chords for them already. They just listen for the music and then they move on. You think to appeal to a generation that's having music thrown at them every 30 seconds, is that how is that as a challenge? Do you take that as a challenge? Do you make music for your listeners sometimes, or just for yourself?
Yeah, I mean, if we are able to survive on doing music till now, I think we have done a great job because people listen to our music. We make money out of it at the end of the day, right? At the end of the day, we are entertainers. We play music, but to us, is like our fans want us to make music the way we have done so far.
Sure.
Yes, you will evolve. You will try new things, but
But is that also the fact that, as you said, your fans love your music? We love it already. Is that, again, a little restricting? Is that a little bit of a weight that brings you down? Because playing to someone who already knows your music or trying to make music that will get other people in, it's a little bit of a dichotomy, is it not? Does that ever enter the process of your music making?
I don't think so.
No.
Because at least in the last album that we like made, we never once talked about, you think people will like this?
Right.
So we for us, it was like, okay, we all like this, and then he writes and everything comes together. And that's pretty much what we showed to a few friends and close, people and stuff. But never once we thought about,
absolutely. Please don't. We may not like it after some time.
Yeah.
That's what I was about to go. Please don't tell me that it's all, sunshine and roses inside that jam pad. I'm sure there'll be raised voices, no?
Of course, yes.
So take me into the jam pad. Tell me about how many fights you've had. Tell me about how many times who said, I'm not going to be in the band.
I think it hasn't happened since 2020.
5 years, 6 years. So 6 years of being sober, so to speak.
Yeah, we haven't had a single fight in jam rooms. You have discussions, healthy discussions about how the song should go and what you can write. But there hasn't been a guitar being broken or somebody's head.
It's very expensive anyway, guitar. So
it's always been peaceful conversations. If something's not working, we tell them why we think it's not working, give them the time to understand it. And usually after a while, we all come to the same place.
Sure.
So I've gotten lucky. These guys are very nice people that way I can talk.
So would you call yourself a mature band?
I think playing music since 2010 has been now is going to be our 16th year. Yeah, it takes time.
And finally, this question that always comes to my mind as a Rabbit fan. I see Parvaaz, I start shouting Zindano, Soeja. I need to listen to that song on stage. For the band, it's 16 stages with 16,000 Sarthaks screaming Soeja or Zindano, which means that you have to do it so many times. That does it ever get challenging to... is success sometimes a little bit of a bummer when you have to keep playing the song again and again and again?
It happens with certain songs. It does happen with every artist. It happens if you have to play certain songs 500 times. And then what you do is you tend to change a live version of it. You do something else, you jam on it, and then figure it out. Yeah.
I've also read, if memory serves me right, it was the Rolling Stones who said we sometimes used to retire songs. It's like, you retire ho gaya. We are not going to play it anymore.
No, for us also, like certain songs we tend not to play live and give it a break, and play them after like few years, and it feels fresh again.
Yeah.
But how do you deal with a lot of people maybe screaming a song that you've decided not to play?
I mean, we have in-ears.
And then you speak to each other, which we don't want to know anything about. But still, the tingle in the fingertips and the rock and roll feel when you pick up that guitar and when you get behind the drum kit and when you pick up bass and start playing. Is it still worth it being a musician?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I don't think there's anything else that we can say. Absolutely, with conviction, I think is a good enough way to sort of end this one. Absolutely, listen to their songs. Absolutely, check out music that Parvaaz has made. And absolutely tell us what you think, because everyone's got an opinion. Why not one in the comment section? This is the Jaipur Bytes, ladies and gentlemen. If you liked it, if it triggered thought, that'll be wonderful. Thank you for watching.